so much for coming to and joining us at this webinar. My name is Akin. I'm from the Leiden University, and I have done the introduction. I'm going to introduce the speakers of this event shortly, and then we will have them have their presentation and show their work, and then we will have the Q&A session and other events, etc., that are coming up. So if you have any question, meanwhile, I'll be following the chat and I'll pop it to the speakers. So that's a kind of interactive session. And please, if you have any questions about the house rules, etc., also you can put it in the chat. I'll be trying to respond to those questions. So now, first, Markus Tischner, I asked how to pronounce the name. He has been working for 15 years since 2008 as a seasoned filmmaker, learning expert, and trainer with a filmmaking career. He is specialized in educational media and science communication films. He brings knowledge to life, which is very nice. Besides his freelance work, Markus leads media production at the Innovation in Learning Institute at Friedrich-Alexander, I don't know how to say that, University, Erlangen-Nürnberg. I'm so sorry, Markus. I tried to practice it, but still it's difficult. And then beyond creating educational and scientific media, he lectures on media production in the master's program, learning design, and trains university staff in science communication. Since 2022, Markus has been integrating artificial intelligence AI into higher education and media production, pushing the boundaries of innovation, which we really need in learning, always weighing challenges and opportunities. And that's why we have him. So Julian is my wonderful colleague. We both are coming from Leiden University. Julian is the superman of our university. He is the product owner, AI and automation at the IT department of Leiden University. He has a background in philosophy. He is not only interested in practical applications of AI in education, but also in wider implications of Gen AI and what it has to offer. So Julian, floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Let me find the right window. Share, there's the button. Used to Teams, not used to Zoom. Anyway, I hope my presentation is visible. It's about scaling AI in higher education. And nobody's complaining, so I guess it's visible. I'm going to briefly talk a little about what Gen AI is, because that's important and there are some misunderstandings about that. I'm going to talk about scaling with a particular platform that we are using. And I'll highlight a couple of use cases and some didactical innovation. However, Markus has much more inspiring examples of that and much more detailed ones than I do. So only briefly. Then I'll talk a little about scaling through Agile Scrum. Those are things that IT people work with. And I'll share some practical tips and challenges that we ran into when doing all these pilots. So first off, what is Gen AI? And this picture really sums it up. It's from a paper by some scientists who work for Microsoft called Sparks of AGI. And we all know that large language models are word predictors, but we also know that they're probably something more than that. And that hunch is correct, and it's visualized in this little picture here, where the bot was asked to solve an equation, and well, when it just predicts words, it guesses, well, there has to be a number right after the equal sign, so it guesses 120, which is wrong, but after that it started reasoning and then ended up with the correct answer. And this reasoning and also the having of understanding of things in the form of having internal representations of things is what we call in philosophy emergent properties. So we made these word predictors and we made them bigger and bigger, and we trained them and we tested them, and they themselves developed new properties, emergent properties, like understanding things and like being able to reason without us humans having to program that in. So super interesting technology. We all know from our daily practice how powerful it is. So how do you get this stuff to work in an educational environment? Well, we started a template that makes it really easy to create custom GPTs, because that's really the key to getting this stuff to work in practice. You have to create custom GPTs for custom use cases in education. And you can do that with the platform. You can do that yourself. Marcus and I will give a demo of how you can do it yourself. But we also have at Leiden University, we have a platform for it. We base this on a platform made by the University of Sydney called Cogniti. So if you want to know more about this platform, please visit the site that is in bold, cogniti.ai. And there you can find more information on use cases that they have already tried out and that they learned from. And you can also find much documentation about how to properly, make these kinds of things and you work with them. So Luca, Leiden University Cognitive Agent is basically a rebranding of this Cogniti platform. And what it is, it's a platform for chatbots. And it works with templates which are didactically sound. They have been designed by teachers. It also has some technology that helps you actually create the bots, so you don't have to know about good prompting because that's built in. And it has another agent for even refining your prompt after you've created, which is very handy. What it also has is some insights. It stores all the conversations, then anonymizes them, so you can actually analyze how the students are using your bots, which is very useful. It has a sandbox functionality, which is super cool. That means that we can create a safe environment in which students can create bots for themselves. I'll give an example a little later on. Um, by using this platform built in our own Microsoft environment, we can ensure that the data is safe. We can ensure that the data center where it runs is environmentally acceptable. So that means it runs on green power and it doesn't use water for cooling. But it also means that digital sovereignty is still an issue because we rely heavily on Microsoft. Of course, all the data, the servers, they're all in Europe, yada yada. But I'd much prefer to have real European infrastructure to run this on, which is currently not here yet.
Julian, we have a
Yeah.
question. Is it free?
Is it free? Yes, it's free in the sense that if you want to also become a member of the group of educational institutions who use Cogniti.ai by Sydney University, you can contact the lead developer and you can enter into a license agreement and there you agree to not monetize it and also to not hold liable the University of Sydney in case of any terrible disaster. And once you sign that, then you're good to go. And then it's free. Yeah. There's also a paid version in the Azure Marketplace, Microsoft Azure Marketplace, that makes it a little easier for you to get started with this. So some use cases and the didactical innovation that we did. We of course have tutoring bots. That's the most simple use case you can think of. We have some practicing and feedback bots that give you mock exams, for example. But what I find more interesting is role-playing bots because you can do more holistic ways of teaching students stuff because you can actually put them into a scenario where the AI is role-playing. And that's also a unique property of this technology that it actually can role-play. So on the right, you see a PowerPoint slide from a University of Applied Sciences in Leiden, and they created Webshop Bob for a class where students were supposed to create new functionality for web shops. So they used to do that by looking for customers, real companies in Leiden. But now they just use Webshop Bob, and Webshop Bob is basically an asshole who only likes to talk about his big car and his beautiful girlfriend, and doesn't understand anything about technology, and doesn't give you a list of requirements, and thinks you're a really annoying little kid. But still, you have to work with this guy to get his requirements and actually build a feature that he needs. So that's a really cool example, I think, of another university that did this role playing. Again, Markus will have much more. And the last thing is, the last use case and didactical innovation is bots made by students. So we're going to do a class where a professor who teaches about Stoic philosophy is going to ask his students to make bots in groups, and they have to create Stoic mentors who can give you advice on your life and your academic career from the point of view of a certain style of Stoicism. So we really hope that this Stoic philosophy will actually come to life in this way um, for the students by them actually, interacting with a Stoic mentor and applying it to their own lives. Then another big important part of scaling. I talked about this platform. So you can scale along the technology axis. So if you have technology in place, a platform in place, then that's a place that people can gather around and create new stuff and learn from each other. But of course, there's much more that's needed. Um, I come from the IT department, so we use this methodology called Scrum, and it has some things in it that you can use in this stage because we're now learning and experimenting a lot. So what we do is we give demos to people, to teachers, to teacher support staff, and then there are always a couple of people who are enthusiastic, and then we do a workshop with them, kind of like Markus and I will be doing later today. So showing you how you can create something, and then people can, bring forward their ideas, and then the best ideas we turn into pilots. And after we've run a pilot, we evaluate it, we learn from it, and then we can go to production. So that's an important part of it. What we also try to do, and Ella is really key in this as a program manager for the whole of Leiden University, is we try to scale technology, policy, guidance, and literacy together. So pilot for pilot, we grow things. So we are not waiting for all the policy to be in place or for the technology to be perfect or anything like that. We just grow it step by step and always keep evaluating and learning. So that also means automatically that everything we do is quite multidisciplinary. And what's also a good tip that I can give you is try the easy things first and the hard things later. For example, Ella and I decided that summative testing, using AI for summative testing, would be a bit too hard at this moment, as it's a high risk activity. So that means you would have to create a really robust process and then a very complicated application to support that the robust process. So no AI in summative testing for now. We'll stick to formative testing. Lastly, before I hand the mic to Markus, some practical tips and challenges that we ran into during our experiments. Um, if you start working with AI in education, always start with the learning goal. This gives you direction, gives you the most important direction, because you always have to wonder, how does the use of AI fit or does or not fit with our learning goals? So those can be very specific for your course. And it might be that using no AI at all is the best fitting way to use AI with your learning goal, or something very different from that. So always start with a learning goal. We often also include the learning goal into the prompt of the custom GPTs that we build. When you build a bot, there are many techniques for it. We'll discuss that during our demo probably also. I usually use the structure role, goal, instruction, rules. And this role is very important because these bots, this AI has read the entire internet, so it knows a lot, and you have to help it to use the right knowledge. So if you say you're an expert in ABC, and then you ask it a question, then it'll use the knowledge of an expert in ABC to answer that question. And if you don't give that role, it will not. So the role is very important, as is the goal. So if you put a goal in the prompt, then that will also help you yourself think about, why am I actually using this custom GPT, which is important. And it also gives the the bot a little bit more robustness in what it does. Very important when creating bots is to work iteratively. It's seldom that you get it right the first time. You build something, you test it, you adjust, you test again, you adjust again. It's a long process. You have to take time for it. If you get stuck, ask ChatGPT. So you created a bot and it's not doing what you like. Just go to ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT, I created this bot, it should do this. However, it does this. This is the prompt I used. Help me make it better. That always works very well. You can adjust the temperature. That's how freely it can associate. So if it has to stick to instructions, lower temperature. If you want a nice and creative bot, higher temperature. And one very, very, very important tip that I can give you is if you deploy these bots in education, it's very important to communicate to your students what this bot is, how the data is used, how they should use this bot, how they should not use this bot, what the learning goal is, how this bot fits with the learning goal. Otherwise, you run the risk that they don't use it at all. You see uptake rates like 10% if you don't communicate, and much higher if you do. Then lastly, a couple of...
Julian,
Yeah?
we have one question is, can you please give an example of a good prompt? You already explained it, but its time actually is up. So maybe you can put an example of the prompts in the chat so they can see it.
Markus is better expert than me in that, and he has built some great examples. So I'm sure that Markus will answer that question during his talk. Some challenges restricting these custom GPT to the particular contents that they have to present is hard because they have read the entire internet and they really want to help. Dialing down the helpfulness is also really hard, takes a lot of time in the prompting. And helping students use the bots in the right way is also something that takes a lot of time. I hope I've stayed within my time. Ah, perfect. On the minute.
It's perfect. Just, yeah, exactly. Almost 1 minute. And I ask all the questions. So if there's anything else, we will continue later on. And now we have Markus. Thank you, Julian. Thank you very much. Markus, floor is yours. You are mute.
Every time the same. Hello from my side. I continue the ideas and from Julian and our topic AI as co-creator with custom chatbots. This one you heard already from Ella. You can remember when scrolling through the PDF if you get it, when you get it then. And now we are looking at a few practical examples of custom GPTs. Yeah, everybody is talking about custom GPTs. It's the new Swiss Army knife. You can do everything with custom GPTs. But what is everything? Yeah, let's look at some practical examples on the one hand. But before we look at some practical examples, yeah, let's think about what are the advantages of a custom GPT compared to the normal prompting with, in this case, ChatGPT. Yeah, the normal prompting is that you give a prompt, and I have a similar method to build prompts like Julian with 4 steps. It's a little bit different from the name. First, give the context. That's the role in Julian's way. You are an expert on XYZ. It's very important, as you heard already. In my CD prompting template is then the instruction. Please give me XYZ in a short form. Then give some details. In what format do I expect the output, and so on and so on. And sometimes we have a specialized input, let's say a PDF document or so, and we can tell the custom GPT, please use this document as your information basis. Yeah, and if you're now prompting the normal prompting steps, you have to write down your prompt. You're an expert in educational design and learner analysis. Your expertise is to generate detailed learner personas and so on. Please generate personas. It doesn't matter for now how the prompt is built up, but you see you have to write many things. Yeah, identify learner segment, create comprehensive persona profiles, apply personas, input tailor personas based on this information. And such prompts could be very long. And if we now think about what are the disadvantages of this conventional chat, let's say, every time you start from scratch. Yeah. Okay, you can, of course, save your prompt and copy it the next time or so, but it's a little bit uncomfortable. Yeah. The next time you're using the prompt or you're starting from the scratch, maybe you forget something, yeah, because it's a long list of things you have to think about. And the effort for adaptation on different scenarios is relatively high. Yeah, so to say, in this prompting workflow, there are no variable inputs intended. Yeah, every time you have to write from scratch new. It would be so much easier if we would have a template. We all know this from website CMS. You have templates, yeah, WordPress templates, lots and lots and lots, and you choose one, and then you fill it with your own content. And a custom GPT is nothing else like a chatbot template. Yeah, you have something prepared, and then you only fill in your ideas, what you need, the details of your needs, and then the chatbot works for you. And you can't forget anything. And now we have new possibilities. The first one is we can certain tasks just do faster. For example, in education, let's say I want to make a lesson plan for my seminar. Yeah, you could do this, of course, on your own and you think about. And with a custom chatbot, a specialized learning, a lesson plan assistant, this goes much faster. We will see this in live action later. The other possibility is not that you're doing things faster, but you have total new possibilities, yeah? Things you couldn't do before. For example, you have, I want to give more individualized feedback. Let's say you have a seminar with 100 students and they all have to produce learning film concept. Let's say I have a seminar and I use this chatbot in my own teaching practice. I have a seminar where the students shall produce a learning film concept and later on a learning film. And of course, they get expert feedback and peer feedback in the seminar, in the presence meeting. But if you have 100 students, it's not, it's a very high effort to give individualized feedback for everybody. Yeah, and you couldn't do this either, or you do have 30 assistants or so, I don't know. And with a specialized custom chatbot, you could give individualized feedback to film concepts, for example, or other kinds of text outputs. Or another example, role play. Julian already mentioned role play. We have a seminar about reform pedagogy. Imagine you want to provide the students with a role play for learning reform pedagogy or working with reform pedagogy ideas. Then you could give them some texts, books, papers about Maria Montessori and Rudolf Steiner, for example, or you can build a role play where they can talk to Maria Montessori or Rudolf Steiner. Of course, this was possible in theory, but in practice it wasn't possible that you as a teacher without programming knowledge also could just build a role play. And now the programming language is English. Yeah. And you can tell the custom chatbot or the LLM with that you build a custom chatbot, I need this custom chatbot. So let's see how these three examples work. They are all they have all a little bit different approach. The first one is the lesson plan assistant, and here it is important that this lesson plan assistant asks. Here we are in ChatGPT. And in ChatGPT, you have the title and a little description. And here is a button. The first few months when using ChatGPT and custom GPTs, I didn't realize that this is a button to click. Yeah, and I ignored it just. Yeah, and I learned that you can click this, and since then I write on this button, click to start. So everybody knows, okay, yeah, click to start. Then let's click and see what will happen. So, hello, I'm your lesson plan assistant. I'll help you design a seminar that combines solid theoretical foundations with practice-oriented applications. So, and here are 9 questions. And so you don't forget something. In which fields would you like to create, let's say, geography? Second, what is the topic of your seminar? Let's say sustainable development. 3, who are the learners? Bachelor students, geography. What prior knowledge do they have? Normal school knowledge. So it's a beginner seminar, let's say. What format should your seminar have? In this case, the GPT is programmed to ask this on-site, blended, online, like blended seminar. How many sessions? 14 sessions. How long should the on-site sessions be? 90 minutes. Should the self-study phases also be designed here? Of course. How heavy should the workload for the self-study phases? 8, let's say 90 minutes, 9. Are there already materials? Here you could provide any material of your program also, but you also could say no. And then this chatbot is programmed. Of course, he's kind and makes a summary. And now next I'll design main learning objectives. He's programmed make learning objectives along the Bloom taxonomy. Overview of the 14 sessions and detailed tables per session. Yeah, would you like to start? Of course. And then,
Markus, we have a
yes,
question.
yes.
Can you integrate your own data into GPT agent?
Yes, of course. There I go directly in the behind the scenes. Here we see what is a custom GPT. A custom GPT basically is a prompt, yeah, like a normal prompt, and you can upload here. Oh, sorry, it's in German. You can upload here your own data, yeah, and then the custom GPT goes on this. Yeah. Here, additionally, in ChatGPT, you can check or uncheck internet search, but I'm not convinced very much that OpenAI really doesn't go into internet if I uncheck this. I don't know exactly. Yeah. But you can uncheck this and upload your own material. So more later on. So now you have your 4 learning objects. Go on. Yes. Or you can, of course, bring in or correct. But today the time is short. How long do I have? Session overview.
2 minutes.
Huh?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay, then I hurry a little bit. Session overview and so on. We grow this, and then you get a table with all these suggestions of the custom GPT. Then, if we go to another individualized feedback, this works a little bit different. This is the learning film concept mentor, and here the students just should upload their document. Here is a film concept document of a student, and he just loads up, and then the chatbot is programmed to answer in a structured way. Yeah, looking for the target group. Is the target group good defined? And what about the storytelling in the text? Is the text good? And so on. This takes a few seconds or minutes, and then there's an answer. In the meantime, I show the third example, and then we come back. The third example is this reform pedagogy discussion. And then there you can chat directly with Maria and Rudolf, so to say. If you start this, and then you can, Maria, what is so special about your method? And then Maria is answering. Yeah, and she's talking in the second person, yeah, so that you have really a dialogue. And then you can bring in Rudolf. Rudolf, what do you think about Maria's concept? And so you really have a kind of a discussion group, and you can ask Rudolf Steiner, what about Maria's concept? Yeah, and these are three very different approaches how to work with the custom GPT. So now back to the learning film concept mentor, and he's programmed. Oh, sorry. Is this
Markus, yes. I'm sorry, it's the time is up, and if that's okay,
Yeah.
I can also invite Julian so we can ask the questions also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then I stop here.
Thank you very much. It was really informative, both of you. Thank you very much for the presentation and sharing your experiences and what you're doing. Now, the first question that we had here was about prompt library, and if there are some examples of that, and if you already have something at your institution, can we share it, and what is your experience with that?
Yeah, regarding prompt library, we don't have one, just because everything is in progress. And when I produce a new prompt, I just ask ChatGPT. Who would know better what ChatGPT wants when creating a custom GPT? And so you are really aware that you use the newest model for creating a prompt.
Yeah, and to add to that, I think it's much more important to create good guidance on creating good prompts and creating some AI literacy than creating a prompt library. And you just have to learn it also iteratively. And even if you have a good prompt library, you still have to test it out and see if it works.
Yeah, very important addition. Of course, you first have to know how a good prompt looks like, and then you can ask ChatGPT and go over it. Is this a good suggestion? Yeah, as always when working with AI. Yeah.
But I see that there's a good library shared in the chat, so that's great. Thank you very much. I'll gladly steal that, borrow it.
Thank you. And also there are some more examples that you can find actually online. But thank you so much for answering the question. Now, the other one is, what are the best practices and steps to take when you want to build up an infrastructure at the university? What kind of measures would you take, etc.? So you can share at the program level or organizational level.
Yeah,
Markus, Julian?
Yeah, as for infra, I put it in the chat that it's not that hard if you have a good IT department. Maybe you yourself, Ella, can also answer part of this question because we
But
as
I'm here, moderator. So
Okay, well, I'll say it for you then. We at Leiden University, we thought we really need a program manager because scaling AI, it has so many totally different aspects: policy, guidance, literacy, technology. So that's more than a project. That's really a program, and that's why we created a function for a program manager at Leiden University, which is a very important part of the scaling effort.
From my side, you have to one of the most important steps is to convince your board, your university board, to give you money. For example, Julian wants to have this person, the program manager, and if you want to work with AI tools, it costs money. And that's very important. Not only money, but yeah, you have to convince really the board and as much people as possible that the whole university has the same focus.
absolutely, 100% agreed. Thank you so much, Julian and Markus, for answering that question. And if you have any other questions, you have our contact information later on. You can also reach out, and we'll be more than happy to share. Thank you. And then the next question. Any experience to build offline educational chats with local deployments to use offline with tools like GPT-4 or low-size LLMs?
Well, yeah, well, you first have to ask why you would want to do that. I know that at your department, Ella, somebody's working, experimenting with that. And we also have some small experiments with transcribing software running locally, but I don't really see any reason to run that locally because then you'd have to, maintain some hardware and that's expensive and time intensive. So it's possible, but it's a very expensive way to do it.
Same for FAU, in short.
Thank you. And the point of LLM is that the same. Okay, it's, let me see if it is a question.
That's a great addition that prompt libraries they go out of date because of the models changing, etc. So it's more about being able to work with AI than having an actual library.
Exactly, thank you. And then the other question that I am seeing here, my question is more about the very long, sometimes hundreds of thousands of words, where someone has created a custom GPT chatbot using the prompt. They have already tested, implemented them. It's great to have them shared somewhere for ideas and inspirations for others so that they can use, adopt, and build their own.
Well,
Is it possible to share?
I would never reuse somebody's prompt that's hundreds or thousands of words long because that's not a good prompt, I think. At least when it's thousands of words, then it's probably contradicting itself, and you're probably doing things with AI that you actually could do better with an application. I sometimes see people building super complex workflows into chatbots when they really should build a good application where you call AI on the right moments. That's much more robust than using AI to handle a long process.
Thank you, Markus.
Or you divide it up in 2 or 3 individual chatbots or so. And regarding, sometimes I produce prompts and they are getting longer and longer and longer. What you can do every time, you can ask again ChatGPT, is this now a good prompt, or what would you optimize? How would you optimize this prompt? And ChatGPT or every other LLM has always lots of good ideas. And it's getting better and better, really.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, both of you, and also the participants for asking the question, not from the learning. And if there's no other question, then we can move on to the events that are coming up. Monica?
No, you're going to do the demo.
Yeah. So we're
Oh.
gonna build a bot together. That's the idea. Judging by by the questions, we have quite an educated crowd here today. So I hope we're not boring you with this. But we will create a bot together, and for the people who've never done that, it will be very useful. And if you're very familiar with this kind of stuff, well, then that's too bad. Let me share my screen, and then yeah. So sharing is caring. Right here we have Microsoft Copilot. We all know that one probably. It's built on technology made by OpenAI. I can actually try GPT-5 right here. It's in Dutch, so that might be new to you. But if you go to office.com and log in with your institutional account, if your institution has Microsoft, then you end up here, and then you can chat just like in ChatGPT, but you can also create an agent. And Markus has just explained why you should create agents. You can make stuff, you can do your work faster or better, or you can try new things. But let's try it out here. Een agent, an agent maken, it says here. So making an agent. And you have two ways of doing that. You can actually talk to a bot and it will make an agent for you, or you can configure it manually. So yeah, we just need a good idea to what kind of bots we can build. Markus, do you have any ideas what we could build today?
Maybe an assistant who tells us something about the new EU regulations of using AI, maybe?
Ah, great, yeah. The new EU regulations for using AI, aka the AI Act. Okay. Cool. It's in Dutch, so I don't know how good your Dutch is. I'll translate just to be sure. It's made its bot. It said what it did, and it proposes a name, AI Act Assistant. Think we should use that, Markus, or should we give it another name?
Yeah, it's a good idea. Maybe you can ask him if he's able to answer in English. Then you don't have to translate.
Yeah.
ChatGPT, it works. I don't know if it in Copilot the same.
Yeah, it's always a surprise to see how it interprets that. I can only speak Dutch, it says. It's fine. It's fine. Like this. That's a first. That AI refuses to speak English and it only wants to speak Dutch today. I kind of like it. It means you all have to learn Dutch. It's a beautiful language, really. It says
Right.
it has finished it. And then we can press maken. Remember that word, first word of Dutch that you learn. And now it's creating the agent. It's done. Go to agent.
So just a little question from the side. How are you sure now that no hallucinations or so coming up in this?
Ooh.
Uh,
I'm not really sure, but I think we might make it better by adding some resources to it, so it stays more grounded, so to speak. Right?
Also regarding the way to answer and so. In this case, I can bring in some ideas you can always use to optimize a prompt.
Cool.
Ask the research. Yeah, And if you go to Consensus, for example, Consensus is an online service like you can chat like with ChatGPT, but it goes only on peer-reviewed papers. And that's an important thing. I don't know, could you just open it and that the people can see consensus.ai? And yeah, here Consensus app, this is okay. This is okay, I think, yeah. And every
right,
time you ask Consensus, you will get answers only from peer-reviewed papers. And so you can ask, for example, please, I want to make a custom GPT. Please give me hints from the latest research how tutor custom chatbot should answer questions or so. Yeah, and then you can put in these tips of Consensus into the chatbot prompt creating process. And this is always a very good way to optimize such prompts. And here you see also the sources in Consensus. Every time you ask in Consensus something, it's also good for scientific research. Yeah, this is the original idea of Consensus, but now you can use it also to optimize prompts. So
great.
that's all from my side. Hint.
Yeah, that's a good hint. You can also put it into the instructions. What I often do is say like, if you don't know the answer, then say so. Or if you don't know the answer, refer to a certain website or something like that. Thank you. And you can also, like I said, you can add resources. So, for example, if I add this this resource here, then it will start processing that, and it'll keep that in the back of his mind when it answers us. So I'll just press this button, and now it has more background knowledge. There it is. It's AI Act Agent. Shall we try it out? Give it a spin. Maybe ask it, what about summative testing? Yeah, let's just ask that. Let's see how it does. Yes, in education. Luckily, this one does speak English. Lucky for you, that is.
Julian, we have a question.
Shoot.
Like, how come the language switch to English was not possible? I thought the language switch is a strong argument for using custom GPTs.
Yeah, well, like I said, AI is always part of an application, really. And it was the application here that was at fault. So we were in a part of the application that allowed us to design a new agent, and that part of the application refused to change language, really. So what you have to understand, and that's a really cool thing to take home, is that these large language models themselves, they have no memory whatsoever. They only think in between input and output. And the only reason you can have a coherent conversation with a chatbot is that a chatbot is really a web application that when you ask a question, it will send it to the AI, and then you get a response. And if you then ask another question, then it will send the previous question and the previous response and your question to the bot, and then get an answer to that, because the AI has already forgotten. It remembers nothing at all. So that's good to know and to understand if you are understanding these applications. Okay, so we created an AI Act agent, and it seems to be working. You think we can make it even better, Markus?
Yeah, okay. We could bring in this consensus, for example.
Right.
This would be the case if we look on the site how it communicates or so, yeah.
Yeah. And what we could also do is see if the prompt is kind of in the structure that you proposed. And I see that it's in this case, the prompt is divided in two parts, where here it has the role really, and here it has the instructions. So we could make it better by adding to either the role or the instructions that it has. And what we can also do is just copy paste this text and run it through ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT what he thinks about what it thinks about this prompt.
I do this all the time, yeah, to be honest.
Yeah, you can
And
also
then,
do
of course, the last step is to go over it and think about does this fit your original ideas? Of course. But structuring a prompt, ChatGPT does a really good job. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also you can also use it when you're using ChatGPT in general. Say you're trying to do something and it doesn't work, you can always ask ChatGPT, how should I pose the question to you to get the result I want? And then describe the result that you want.